Welcome back to Feel for Harmony, the first episode where I'm back here. Today we have a very special guest and a very relevant guest to the video I recently made because I try to do it every time, try to make the interviews relevant to what I'm doing on my other channel, but I never do it. But for once I did it because we have a game developer, creator of Super Mario Dolor, and more recently a Happy Place. Makes horror games. Those are one of them scary. All right, we have Ziggity aka Zach. How you doing today? Woo!
Hey, what's up? I'm kind of a celebrity around these parts. I'm beloved by all around
That's
here. That's
true.
why I'm so relevant.
I went to New York. I went downtown New York. I went to Times Square. They had a big billboard advertising Super Mario Dolor on Archive. Actually, it's kind
Yeah,
of crazy. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't know you could do
And there's
that
like a
legally, but
yeah, there's a little guy with a Nintendo pin with the Nintendo pin at the bottom who's like yelling up like profanities at the billboard. I remember that.
exactly. Hold on. I wasn't recording my audio. You know what? I don't care. My audio's Fonder, if you're editing this, just use my audio from Discord for that first part. Leave this in for the Feel for Harmony viewers. It'll be funny, probably. Anyways, you give yourself a little.
Hello,
I kind
everybody. My name is
of.
Codebug.
Okay. I'll record something in post, just like sync it with my mouth. But before we get started here, you kind
Okay.
of want to
All right.
talk to the people who maybe don't know. I kind of give you an introduction there, but maybe people who aren't like familiar with who you are, what you've done.
Yeah. My name's Zach. When I was 17, or when I was 14, I started making video games, and up until that point, I wanted to make video games my whole life, and I was very motivated to actually start learning. Until I was like 17, all of my games were kind of like practice games that I never really released or showed to, any like public area. I've never been like a huge like online community guy. So like I never was showing people my stuff online or anything like that. But then one of my practice games I ended up really liking. It was a game that in the project files, I modeled a Goomba and I modeled like a mushroom to show my friends like how to model stuff because I had friends who were curious about what it is that I did, and I eventually, it was inspired a lot by Doki Doki Literature Club, which had come out recently at that point, and that it was not a scary game, and then randomly, you'd be playing as this weird model of Mario that just started bleeding out everywhere, and I released a tiny little demo that was just one level and literally nothing else. There was no title screen. There wasn't even a sub level, even though you could go down a pipe, it would just restart the game. And then SMG4, the YouTube, the
Oh my God,
very very
Hobo
old,
Bros.
yeah,
I
Hobo Bros. So
completely forgot about. Maybe that's how I found out about the game.
yeah,
It was either them or Luigi Kid. It was one of them. But I
yeah, I
forgot
I
they
thought
existed.
I was talking to my friends before Mario Dolor ever got any amount of popularity, and I remember betting, and I think that I actually referenced this in the game. I remember betting that Luigi Kid would be, if there was going to be a YouTuber who played the game, that Luigi Kid would be the first
Yeah,
person to do
Renee
it.
will play like any scary Mario game. Not that it's a bad thing, but I just think that's
Yeah,
funny.
I I have some stuff to say about that later. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not a
we'll
YouTuber,
get
so
into
I
it.
yeah, okay. But I SMG4 is interesting because I actually watched a lot of SMG4 when I was a kid with my sisters. Like it was one of the only YouTube channels that was consistently liked between my siblings and myself. And so those guys, Luke and Kevin being the first people to play my game was very surreal. I was subscribed to the Hober Bros when they uploaded that, and it was the first time that like a major YouTuber played the game. In fact, it was only like the second time ever that a YouTuber played the game. And I remember freaking out, like telling everybody, like, "Look, someone played my game." And I feel like a lot of my friends who kind of maybe doubted my abilities a little bit were kind of like, "Okay, yeah, this guy actually makes video games." And that motivated me for like the next 2 years to actually finish the game. And this completely unpaid game that people simply liked, I was tempted a lot of times to stop because it was a lot of work for no, actual real world support or anything like that.
Mhm.
But, I love making video games. Any excuse to make video games, I'll take it. So I like devoted the next 2 years to just trying to actually make a full video game, which I'd never done before, and upload it for people to see. I'm very proud in Mario Dolor being the first game I ever made. Um, it took a lot of commitment. It took a lot of work. I had to learn a lot of skills while making it. Even though like it's a very weird game, and I probably wouldn't. I probably wanted. I probably would have wanted to make something of a slightly higher quality at the very least nowadays. Um, I mean, it was my first video game, right? So like,
No, that's impressive for a
I'm
first game too.
yeah, yeah, most people their first game is like they remake like some really small little thing and it's like 2 minutes of gameplay or something like
Mm,
that. But I guess like I'm way too ambitious and I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. I simply like if I don't devote all of my time to something, I'm not impressed by it, and so I don't want to keep working on it, which is
yeah.
an issue with me because it makes it to where I never upload video games, which is like my favorite thing to do is make video games. Um, but yeah, I mean, at this moment right now, I have two games out, and I'm very proud of both of them. So yeah, I'm a game developer.
Yeah.
So I'm a developer.
I wanted to ask because I brought it up in my video. When I found out that this game was made in Blender, maybe, when did I? This might be crazy for you to hear. I played this game when I was first, like, when I was 13 or something. So, like,
Yeah.
8 years ago, whenever that came out. I don't even remember. Because I saw it on Game Jolt. I saw it on Game Jolt after
Mhm.
I saw someone play it. I'm like, oh my god, like, this game is public. And it was back when
Yeah.
I think it went up to the second level at that point. I
Yeah.
don't think the Boo House
That was
was
the
out
first.
yet. I vividly remember because I
Yeah.
tried to play the Boo House and I was like, why is it not working? Because
Yeah.
it just nothing
Yeah.
would happen. But
Yeah, the very
yeah,
first version ever was just one level, and then that version that you played was the demo, I guess I would call it, which went up to the end of the second level,
yeah.
and that's when I spent like a lot of time trying to finish the game after that. Yeah.
But I didn't know until I played it for that time that it was made in Blender. How do you? Because I didn't even know you could make games in Blender. I thought that was just like an animation program. How is
Yeah.
working in Blender with games compared to? I don't know if you've done animation in it, but just in general, how's the process normally?
Yeah, so don't use the Blender game engine for stuff. It's not good. The reason why I used the Blender game engine is because I had to learn so many things going into the medium. Like I had to learn how to record music. I had to learn how to model 3D models. I had to learn how to rig 3D models. I had to learn how to make my own textures, which I done very sparingly up to that point. There were a lot of very basic things I needed to be able to do if I wanted to make a game on my own, which are things that I had worked for basically my entire high school career towards being able to do.
Mm,
So, I love the idea of making video games, so I'm going to learn how to use Blender competently. I'm going to learn how to write music competently. And I feel like Mario Dolor was a great learning experience for that. The big problem is that coding is a massive concept. Like there are so many different things you need to understand when going into actually coding a video game that like I was too intimidated by it and I didn't want to learn how to actually program. So how the Blender game engine worked? The Blender game engine was removed like a long time ago. Blender is currently, I think, in it's like its fourth or fifth version. I think the Blender game engine was removed in its third version, like 3.0, like a
oh, so
long
it's
time
gone.
ago. Yeah, it wasn't very popular. It was replaced by a much more relevant thing, like a much more relevant mode of using Blender, which made rendering, from my understanding, it made rendering a lot better. But it's funny, the Blender game engine came out in the year 2000, which was the year that I was born. So the amount of time that the Blender game engine has been out, is kind of like destiny a little bit. But how it would work is you'd create a Blender project, just like normal, like it's just normal Blender, and then there was a window in Blender that let you edit like logical nodes inside of Blender objects. Like if you had like a cube or something or like a text object, you could put like little logic nodes inside of it. Um, and it was very inefficient. Anybody who's familiar with coding principles, imagine if you had to code with none of them. like think about one thing. Like you might think, oh, variables, yeah, it had that, and that's basically it. So it was very tedious to work in. Maybe one of the reasons why I had never released a game is because there were so many problems with Blender that I had to figure out before I could ever even hope about publishing a game. That might be another reason why my first game ended up being so big. But um, there's just so many problems all the time. I remember it being so laggy. Coding is very powerful, and I just did not code those games. I used like little logical nodes, which some other game engines use, but it was way, way more archaic in Blender. It legitimately felt like I was programming on like a fourth generation console, like the GameCube. Like it felt like the year 2000, like I was trying to make a game, that had to be as optimal as like a GameCube game. Like it's very old, it's very out of date. Um, Something I'd like to add, at the moment right now, I have graduated from college. I have my bachelor's in computer science. So
Oh, that
yeah,
that
I
could
went
not have
from
been
not.
easy.
Oh, absolutely not. I barely got by with that.
I almost went into computer science, but I chose film
Yeah,
instead, and I'm so glad I'm going
I
through that
see.
because I talked to all my computer science friends. I'm like, oh hey, how's it going? And they give me like the 1,000 year stare. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
At my school, I had the option to get a game degree, which is originally why I went to the school I went to. But the reason why I didn't go into the game degree is because when I had visited my school, I saw a bunch of the people who were in the game degree. Like when I visited, it was also a day where the game students would show off their stuff, and I was kind of unimpressed. I felt like the things that they were doing, I was already able to do, and so I thought it'd be a lot more useful if I learned how to just do computer science related topics in
Yeah,
general. I thought that would help me a lot more with
as
any prospective
learning new
jobs.
skills and other things that would amplify the
Yeah,
talent you already have, rather than just doing the same thing over again.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I would get a more generalistic skill set that I could apply in a job that I could also apply generically in video games as well. And at the moment, I could learn any coding language in a week. Like I've done the whole curriculum. I've learned how to research. I've learned all of everything, all the main principles of like object-oriented design and programming. Like all of that is like burned into my mind. I'm making another game right now
Oh,
already again, and I'm making it in Unreal.
oh,
I'm
okay.
making Yeah, yeah, so the big thing for this game is I'm learning like there's always like a big thing that I'm trying to learn
Hmm.
every time I make a new game. And this time it's actually taking the concepts I learned and actually incorporating it in a video game to make a very I guess optimal, nicely looking video game. Um, that's actually powerful that I can work in easily and I don't have to wrestle with every day.
Yeah.
Like that will be so nice when I'm able to make video games again in a way that isn't just absolutely
Annoying.
awful.
No, that's how I was when I
Yeah.
edited in Sony Vegas. That's why I switched to Premiere. Because, like, I know the whole joke with Vegas is that it crashed, but, like, I was fighting with it some days. Like, it would crash, like, 9 times within, like, an editing session or something like that. And I'd have to be, like, saving constantly and just, like, being ready for it to crash
Oh
when I
yeah.
did a certain thing. And it's just, like, I shouldn't just go in expecting it not to function. That's not a good way to work on things.
Oh,
Um,
I absolutely feel that. Yeah.
Premiere definitely has some issues as well, but it's definitely a lot more optimized and functional. So I
Yeah.
definitely get where you're coming from with that.
I when I was making Mario Dolor, when I was making that second version, I think the reason why I wanted to leave it at level 2 is because when I was programming the second level's boss fight, the Chain Chomp, my computer was lagging so bad because it was such an old laptop and it couldn't take the project size. It was like too much. Every time I saved the game, it took like 5 minutes just to save, and it would crash all the time. I was basically banging my head against my wall. Like it was so bad, which is probably why the first version of in that version of Mario Dolor, the second boss fight is a little strange. Like when the ghost head appears, it kind of like just flies through the floor pretty awkwardly.
I don't
I'm
know if I
pretty
noticed
sure.
that.
Yeah, I changed it for the final version, but
See,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, no, no.
uh,
You're good. I'm done.
the thing
I'm
with
yapping.
Dolor or Dolor, I didn't even realize I was pronouncing it wrong my entire video. Awesome. I'm sure I got
I
it. I'm
might be
sure I got a
pronouncing it wrong
comment.
too.
I'm sure if
I
I get
might
it
be
wrong,
pronouncing it wrong.
anyways, one of us will be corrected in my comment section. Uh, with that game, I thought some of
Yeah.
like the breaks and like the models and stuff like that. I don't know if they were intentional or not, but I think I said this in my video too. I really liked that because I felt like it added to the uncanny valley feel of the game because I felt like that really did help with these types. Like my favorite scare, I guess if you want to call it that, of the game is the flagpole scene with the guy just in the background, the way he just like slides in like that. Like it's not natural. It's not like how you normally see
Yeah.
3D models move, but that's why I like
Yeah.
it because it's weird. So
Yeah.
even if it was unintentional, I think it really worked out in the game's favor. That kind of jankiness to it almost.
Yeah. Even though it was like my first project, I still was like very driven to try to make it like good. Like I wanted it to be fun,
Well, it was
and I
fun.
wanted it to be, yeah, I wanted it to be effective, in what I was trying to do with it. And I learned so much from making it. But one of the things that I wanted to try to do is I wanted to not have a lot of jump scares. I wanted to make like the game very creepy,
Mm-hmm.
and I did this way more with A Happy Place, which has I think like maybe two jump scares in the entire like 8 hours of gameplay. Um,
Eight?
like it's a big game. It's a full video game. It's
Uh,
got 9 levels.
here was I thinking, it's like maybe I could bang out the game tonight. No.
Yeah, no, it's not like Mario Dolor where it's like 5 small levels. It's nine. It's like what a my goal was to make what would have been like a AAA video game in
Hmm.
like the Nintendo 64 era. Like I wanted it to be like an
Yeah, I could
actual
tell it's very much like
full-on.
Collectathon N64 era inspired, which I love those
Yeah,
kinds of games. So, um,
yeah,
but
um,
back on
yeah,
Dolor, I got a couple
yeah,
things I'd
yeah,
like
sure.
to ask about that before we get into some happy place talk.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
pretty standard question here. Out of all of your things that came out of Dolor, whether it be maybe how a certain boss turned out or a certain character turned out, what do you think your favorite aspect of the game is to this day, or maybe an effect it had, or something like that? Anything pertaining to the
Well,
game.
I think a big fan favorite is the final boss song. Um, so there are two songs in the game that are like semi-original. It's the title screen and the final boss,
Mhm.
which I have on my YouTube. It's my most viewed YouTube video. It's got like thousands of views. Yeah, I'm kind of a YouTuber too, a big time YouTuber. I also really like the final boss theme. I think that I like put a lot of really good ideas into it. I think it turned out really good. Um, I mean, I just like how like weird it is. I think my favorite thing when I think about Mario Dolor is thinking about people who like, even like close relatives who I was like, yeah, I made that game Mario Dolor. And then later they'll play it or they'll watch videos about it and they'll be like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. And like it always like means a lot to me because like so many people just loved it. Like it was so weird to me that my little weird Mario game would have like people would actually like it. Like I'd wanted to make video games for a long time, and I'd wanted like people to actually provide a fun experience for people. Like that's what motivated me, and like I actually ended up doing it, even in such like a weird game. So when I think about like my favorite thing about Mario Dolor, it's not even necessarily a thing in the game. More so for me, it's just
The
like
impact it
how
had.
yeah, how excited people get when they find out that I made it. Um, yeah, that's probably what I would say for that.
Yeah, no, I'd say, I mean, it's practically part of my job to play Mario horror games at this point. I feel like
Yeah.
Dolor has, well, one of my reasons I like it is because not only is it a horror game, but it's also a game. Because I'm not sure how familiar you are with a lot of Mario horror games, and I hate to be like this, like, oh, they're all walking simulators stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of them are more experiences rather than like actual games with like bosses
Yeah,
and levels and stuff like that. Especially
I get
levels. Like
that.
so many Mario horror games do not have levels. They have like one
Yeah,
level and some are like one
like
or
Sonic
something like that.
ISD.
Yeah. And there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. I got nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying I
yeah, of
like
course.
when there are Mario horror games that are more game focused rather than horror. Or, like in Dollar's case, they're able to balance them out. Which, once
Yeah.
again, I love some games that are nothing but walking simulators. I really do. But it's also nice when it's like fully fledged out and it's something different, I think. Is the best way
Yeah.
to put it.
When Mario Dolor, yeah, I agree. When Mario Dolor was popular, there was another game at the time called like Mario 64 but scary, where it was like a first person game where you'd walk through like the levels and stuff like that and like various horror things
I
would
think I
happen.
remember that
And
one, yeah.
I remember sitting back and being like, why am I not making that game? Like, it seems like I could make like a first person like thing, and I could like download some models, and like I could really cut down on the game logic. If like I'm not saying that that game was bad. In fact, I actually kind of wanted to collaborate with the guy who made it when I saw it for the first time. I kind of wanted to reach out. I don't think I ever got a response, but
Hmm.
I thought it would have been cool, be like, hey, can I like do some stuff with you? Like, would you like some stuff? You know, so I didn't think it was bad, but I definitely thought, I would have, it would have been a lot less stressful to make a game that wasn't like so compartmentalized and so like as full as I tried to make it, like Mario Dolor. But yeah, making levels, actually like plotting out a progression system. Like I just like making video games. It's not necessarily that I think of myself as like an EXE or like a horror creator. Like my next game isn't even a horror game. Like it's,
Yeah.
I definitely in my mind with like my ideas and stuff, I definitely branch out. But yeah, I can see why it would be such a different experience being so used to like I played Sonic.exe when I was a kid, and I remember thinking it was freaky, and like I think about Mario Dolor and it's like, wow, that's
Yeah.
like nothing like it.
Have you played any recent like creepypasta games or anything like that, or have you kept up with it at all?
No, I think that's more of a thing, at least for me. I felt like I was more into that stuff when I was like in middle school, maybe. And we mentioned YouTubers playing EXE games
Yeah.
nowadays. I remember I sent out a bunch of copies of A Happy Place just so like, just because why not?
Yeah, you
And I
sent
sent
me
it out
one
to a
during
bunch.
the summer, right?
Yeah, I did. I
I'm
did.
so
Yeah.
sorry it took me so long to get to it.
No,
I
you're
legitimately
good.
forgot I had it for a bit, and then I was going through some of my video ideas a couple months ago, and I was like, "Oh, Dolor, that'd be really cool." And I was like, "Wait, didn't he have another game?" I was like, "Oh shit, he sent me it,
Yeah.
didn't he?" But
No, I mean, nobody's played A Happy Place. The big problem is that like Mario Dolor is like Mario. Like it's, oh look, it's a
yeah,
Mario fan game. It's like that's good to make. Like that's good to like make
mm,
content of, or at least from my very ignorant perspective, it seems like that would be a lot easier of a kind of piece of YouTube content to make than like something that's completely unproven, like an original video game like A Happy Place. But I remember a bunch of just like random YouTubers who I knew played horror games. I sent them out copies of the game, and then I subscribed to their channels just like just because I
mm-hmm.
wanted to subscribe, see what, they were what content they usually make and stuff like that. I swear for like the next 3 months, every single upload from all of those YouTubers was Sonic.exe related, which I remember being floored by. It's just another Sonic.exe video because like I'm 24. I'm an old man, but like Sonic.exe was the thing when I was in like seventh grade.
So, do you know
Like
what
I
happened? Do you know what happened with it?
no,
So,
what was it,
it's
like an
part
FNF
of.
thing or something?
Let me give you the rundown here. Maybe for
Okay,
anyone
okay,
else who doesn't know.
okay.
So
For all the old
basically,
people.
I know this too because EXE games have honestly just been a guilty pleasure of mine because it was something I grew up with
Yeah,
too, and
yeah.
for a while there, from like let's say like 2017, 18 to like 2020, it was something I'd occasionally check in on. I followed up with that game PC port when it was coming out, but otherwise, just every now and
Mhm.
then I'd pop on a Luigi Kid video, maybe a
Yeah,
couple other like follow up with some games, maybe if I was bored. But it was just kind of something. It was a very niche, small. It was pretty much dying, I want to say. And that's no
yeah,
disrespect to people who were in the community at the time because they were still making some good ass games. It's just the trend was over. You know, Sonic EXE came
yeah.
out in 2013. It had been
It's like if
almost
Slenderman,
7 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
But
like if Slenderman.
then a little game called Friday Night Funkin' came out, and
Yeah.
a mod called Versus Sonic EXE came out, which not
Okay.
that one was popular. But then later in the year, a second version came out. Sonic
Hmm.
EXE hit popular. If you look on Google Trends, I used it in my videos a ton of times. let's say this is where Sonic EXE was at its peak in like 2013, 14. This is where it
Mhm.
was like off the screen.
That's
That's what
crazy.
I'm saying. And I'm
Really?
seeing this, yeah, because, what was it, 2021?
Wow.
Was I starting college? No. I was either my last year. I think I was in my last year of high school seeing this. I was like, holy shit, people are talking about Sonic EXE again. And,
Yeah.
I had, because now I do horror stuff. A couple of years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
I didn't do just horror stuff. I love doing horror stuff, don't get me wrong, but I did other things. So I made like one or two that people really liked, like horror games. And then I made one, like, video that was
Mhm.
it was a game called Cowboy, if you ever heard of it. Luigi Kid played it. That blew up, and then I made other content kind of related to that, like Sonic horror games, stuff like that, and people loved it. And I'm
Okay.
like this is crazy. I'm seeing this community from like when I was a kid come back and be stronger than ever, all because of a rhythm game, and that is
Yeah, I
crazy.
that is crazy. I assumed that like something like insane must have happened.
No, I have a physical copy of Sonic EXE. I think I left it in my dorm. But
Really?
yeah, I got it from a guy who makes like Genesis reproduction carts. It's an old ROM hack called an ordinary
I
Sonic ROM hack. And
Oh, I see.
yeah. But no, I honestly I kind of love it cuz I mean, there's definitely a nostalgia
Cool.
factor in there because I've loved Sonic EXE when I was a kid. I love creepypastas. But also it really is so cool seeing people take this really cheesy, kind of really bad horror game and like concept and turn it into something insane. Like you look at some of them, like let's take Mario for example. A couple off the top of my head, there's Mario 85 or Mario PC Port, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, yeah.
That one
I
was really
I
popular,
mm,
really popular, and pretty
yeah.
solid. There's a developer, I don't want to get this wrong, White Void made a game called Crucius Mortem, this Mario 2 inspired horror game.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just like
I
bloody dyed sharp teeth like walking simulators
Mhm.
anymore. People are making real games, and it is all because
Yeah.
of what. Everything was because of this versus Sonic EXE mod. I swear to God. And like everything that came after it was a result of old creepypasta stuff from that becoming popular again. They're like, hey,
That's
let's make a
crazy.
Mario mod. Hey, no, the Mario
Yeah.
mod was crazy because I saw people start talking about Coronation Day, if you know what that is.
Oh, yeah,
I never
like
thought I would
is
see
that the
that
one where
again.
like
It was like
Luigi's face is melted off or something like that?
it's like
Is it that
Mario
game?
trapped in the forest, and then like he keeps repeating.
Yeah,
Space
it's like
Hamster
Mario World,
talked
right?
about it. Yeah, that's how I knew
Super
about
Mario
it.
World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Hamster talked about it like a decade ago, and that's how I knew about it. And it was just always this little game I knew about.
I think I saw
Now it has
Nuclear
a
Gamer
cult,
play.
like a huge following, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like that's incredible. But
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
yeah, no, the
man,
scene is really like, it's definitely dwindled down
that's
a
really
bit.
cool.
Because nothing
Yeah.
like insane has really been
Yeah, it
happening.
needs to not be popular anymore so everyone plays a happy place.
I won't lie, I don't know when, but I have a happy place on my list now for videos. Because after playing it that one time, I was like, all right. And I try to bring attention to games that aren't maybe either as popular anymore or as well known. Every now and then I break the
Yeah.
mold. Like I talked about like Spooky's Jump Scare Match. Everyone knows about that. But I
Yeah.
like to talk about more obscure stuff that maybe I liked as a kid, or maybe this new generation of creepypasta fans don't know about. Like Dolor was really popular, but like this new
Yeah.
wave of people coming in from the last couple of years might not know about it. And that's why I want to bring
Yeah,
attention
I
to it,
agree.
because like you will like this if you like all this. Um,
Yeah.
I think the craziest part about all of this is this little niche, like pretty much dead community that I was like engaging with is now the reason I have a job.
Yeah,
And that is
that's
insane.
crazy. That is really fortunate.
If I had to bank on something blowing up my YouTube channel, it would not have been like creepypasta and EXE stuff. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I try to just stick to horror in general. One of my most recent videos before Dolor was just a regular one. And I am so burnt out on Sonic.exe. I'm not making another Sonic
Yeah.
video for like another month or two.
I remember you mentioning that in your Mario Dolor video.
Cause I made a
Yeah, I mean,
50-minute long video on one Sonic EXE game, and like that took me
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, I
um
can definitely see it being like, like a new generation of people who are on YouTube wanting to, watch Let's Players. I know that, when I was a kid, I liked Sonic.exe, so it makes sense that like, you know,
Kids now would like
uh
Sonic EXE.
yeah, yeah, it just makes sense. So yeah, I have absolutely nothing against it. I just thought it was very funny seeing like literally my whole inbox being like, Luigi Kid and Link's 4 and people like that, was just like, it's only Sonic.exe,
Yeah, they're
which
still
I thought,
going.
yeah. Yeah, I know, I know.
It's crazy.
I love Luigi Kid Gaming though. Literally every time I ever watch like an Austrian YouTuber, there's some episode where Luigi Kid is like in there, or like German. Like
Yeah.
there's always an episode where like it's a Luigi Kid is here. Like he's in the video now. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, what's up? And that guy played my game.
I
But
completely
yeah,
forgot. I was just about to say something about Sonic EXE. I don't want to think about
oh
him
yeah, yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Anyways, moving
Out of my
on
head,
here.
out of my brain.
I'm done with that blue bastard.
Yeah,
But
get away from
anyways,
me.
let's get happy, Darius. That's a crazy transition right here. Let's go to a
Oh
happy
wow,
place to talk about a happy place. So,
I'm feeling happy, guys.
I would like to avoid spoilers for the game
Okay.
because not only have I not completely, like I said, I played maybe like an hour of it, but people who are listening to this, and I'm probably gonna advertise this on my YouTube channel as well, so people who are coming in, I would like to give them an opportunity to play it blindly. So, with the happy place, how would you kind of describe it to people going in for the first time, or like how would you pitch it to them almost?
Sure. So, oh man, it's kind of crazy. So, Happy Place was a game that was supposed to take 6 months to make. It was supposed to be a very small video game, but like I said, when I'm not impressed with my own project, I start like automatically generating ambition, and it went from taking 6 months to make to taking a year to make to taking 5 years. By the way, I started the project files for A Happy Place in June of 2019, which is on the same day that I released Mario Dolor. I
Damn.
literally I released the game and
Started
day
on your
one,
next
like
one.
frame one, A Happy Place. What I wanted to do was I wanted to like work on something like less committal, like just so like I could learn a little bit more, just so like I can let Mario Dolor get a bit of attention. Because like when people play Mario Dolor and I watch them play it, I learn more as a game developer, and it was very useful for me. And like when people have problems with the game, I love hearing like what people don't like. Like there are tons of things about Mario Dolor that I don't like, and it's very
Mhm.
helpful for me. And so, I wanted a little bit of time to learn. And after a year of making a happy place, I completely restarted because I didn't like the direction it was going.
Mhm.
Um, so, up until that point, I'd wanted to make a 3D platformer basically my entire gaming career. In fact, Mario Dolor was kind of like an on the whim game. Like I never saw myself making a 2D platformer. I
Mhm.
always saw myself making a 3D collectathon because I grew up on the Nintendo 64. And that's always just what I saw myself
Yeah.
as, is making 3D
And
platformers.
collectathons
In
are
fact,
just like the best genre of all time, like Battle for Bikini Bottom, Banjo
to me,
Kazooie.
yeah,
Let's get
yeah,
real here.
Huge Banjo Kazooie was a huge inspiration for
I could definitely see
me.
that inspiration within
Yeah,
the game. I loved that.
yeah, it's just me wanting to make a Banjo-Kazooie game so much that I make my own 3D game completely. But up until that point, I'd tried making a few 3D platformers, and I never really got like anything good going. And after I made Mario Dolor, I had the insane idea of making a sequel to it. I called it Super Mario Sober for a while, and what it was is it was going to be basically a direct sequel to Mario Dolor, but instead of being 2D, it was going to be 3D. It
Hmm.
was going to be like Mario 64. And I thought about it for a while, and like I was already working on. I think at the time it was called the Happy House, not a Happy Place.
Hmm.
And I'd already tried making 3D platforms before. I thought, you know what? How about I combine literally everything I've wanted to do for like the last few years, and I make a very deliberate video game where I try to make it like a Nintendo 64 game. I make it original. I come up with the story myself, and everything is original. I write all the music, right? So in Mario Dolor, I like recomposed songs.
Hmm.
In A Happy Place, there are 96 songs in that game, and I composed all of them. Yeah, it's a big game.
Damn.
It's like a full-on indie video game.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play more of it.
And so, first off, if you liked Mario Dolor, A Happy Place is the spiritual successor to Mario Dolor.
Mm.
The things I wanted to do in Mario Dolor that I didn't do, either because I didn't know how to code, or because they were too ambitious, or because I never got around to doing them, all of those ideas are in A Happy Place. A Happy Place has 8 hours of content. It is a video game. Everybody who's ever played it has loved it. Um,
I
and
had a lot of my fans. I should say a lot, but I had a couple
yeah,
fans who were very, very, very much pushing for me to cover it. I was like, I was already planning on it. It's okay. You
yeah.
can
I think I'll admit this. I think that those people might secretly be fans of mine who are in my Discord server who might be like, because there are people in my Discord server, the Happy Place Discord server, who really want people to play the game.
Oh no,
The game came,
I won't
yeah.
lie. I'm planning on once I like play through more of it. I'm gonna talk to some of other YouTubers that I know who like stuff like this. I'm gonna
This
be
is
like,
yeah,
hey, I'm trying to get better at pushing like
yeah,
smaller games and like recommending smaller games to people because everyone's gonna recommend like Silent Hill 2, and don't get me wrong, possibly like the greatest game this came out
yeah,
this year.
yeah,
But I feel like I just don't have a lot of people recommending indie games to me. The YouTubers are not, or like talking about. I shouldn't say talking about. That's a lie. Recommending like
yeah,
indie games. You know, like really small. Like I have never had a friend recommend me something that's on Game Jolt or like Itch.io.
yeah,
Which is crazy. Like Game Jolt, I kind of understand, but not even Itch.io. I was like, so I've been trying to get a little more into that habit. Or like we're talking about games, so I'm like, hey, check out this, or this, and it won't like it'll be something on Game Jolt that I found that day, or something like that. But
yeah,
I'll push the agenda. Don't you
yeah.
worry.
Yeah. I one of the things that I'm going to be doing for my new game is I'm actually going to be creating a Steam page for it,
Ooh.
and I think I'm also going to upload a Happy Place onto Steam,
Oh
just so
yes, I have to play it
yeah,
through Steam because I left my Xbox controller somewhere. I don't even know, and
yeah,
I can't
yeah,
get any of my other controllers to work with it. So I had to play it through Steam to use the
yeah.
input.
A lot
But
of people had to do that because Blender sucks. And when I first started making a Happy Place, I didn't know how to code still.
Mhm.
By the end of it, I did know how to code though, so like
You
the game is
figured
like
it
a
out.
weird hybrid. The game is like a weird hybrid between like whenever I didn't have to code, I didn't, but whenever I did, I would code. So it's like a big jumbled mess of like
Mhm.
really ineffective code and like just like crazy Blender objects everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of starting from the ground up. I'm entirely on my own, basically. I am not a business person. I'm very bad at marketing. So it's always very helpful. It was it was very cool seeing that people got into Mario Dolor because so many YouTubers played it.
Mhm.
Like that was awesome. Like Mario Dolor has like what like more than 16 million views combined on YouTube or something like that,
I'm not
which is
sure.
that's a great like
Ah,
that's
that's
a
crazy.
very good
Yeah.
amount. Yeah, it's a very good amount of like people being like talking about the game and me being able to like take in that information and like, have have a better or maybe a more focused mentality going into future games. Um, so yeah, I think all of the onus is definitely on me. The games are on Game Jolt, which is not super popular.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you
no one's
tried
ever heard
putting
of
it
me.
on Itch.io?
I've considered putting
I would recommend that
I,
because I feel like Itch.io is
okay.
pretty big now, especially for horror games. Like that's its biggest thing. So that would be my
Okay.
recommendation to start off before getting on Steam because I know Steam can be kind of a bitch to get onto sometimes. They're just a little more annoying to
Yeah.
work with, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So honestly, if you just got some free time, throw your game up on there. I don't know how
Yeah,
hard
I
it
mean,
is, but
I'm uploading the final version of the game today, so like I can,
oh
or
wait, I just
the
realized I'm gonna have
final
to start from
content save.
scratch, aren't I?
Well,
Or can I move
so the game
saves?
saves the game will carry over your saves. If
Oh,
you play the
okay, that's
demo,
good.
yes, so to anybody who might be watching, if you play the demo and then you get the full version starts from wherever you left off in the demo. Like it all uses the same save files and stuff like that. So yeah, if you download a new version of the game, your progress will be saved up to that point. Um, yeah, so the game is,
Ooh. It should
you
be
know,
out. Cause by the time this is out, probably this will have been a week ago or so. But I believe you said you wanted to do something special for this episode when it comes
oh yeah.
out.
So how about this? So I'm gonna upload the update today, and then I'm also gonna create an Itch.io account, and I'll put Happy Place on Itch.io too.
Woo!
And I'll have to see like how the mechanics of that works, but I want to do a sale for a few days. I'm thinking of like 15 or 20% off if you're just watching this on the day this came out
Mm,
and you go over to GameJolt or Itch.io to the game page. You can get there by either looking up a Happy Place
I'll
game
have my
glitch
editor throw a
or
link up.
okay,
Editor,
awesome.
put something that says link in description right here, so that way when I'm watching this, I remember to put it in the description where I'm pointing right here. All right, cool.
Editor, put another one above my head where I'm pointing,
Oh yeah, up there. Editor, cover the
and then also
entire screen.
there and there and there and there and there and there.
All
All right.
right. Sorry,
It must
Fonda, you're
be
gonna
fun.
hate
It
me.
must be so nice having a YouTube editor.
Oh yeah, I edit all
I
of my own
I
main channel stuff, so this is where I get
I
to have fun with it. Is on Fearful Harmony.
I, I used to be a YouTube editor, so that's like my retribution. Just being like, "Hey, editor, do this.
Oh really?
Editor, put a little explosion right here."
Did you edit for
Oh
anybody?
no.
Like any like big
Uh,
YouTubers?
I I edited for my friend.
Ah,
When
that's
I
still
needed
fun.
money in college. Yeah, when I needed money in college, I would edit videos for him, and he'd pay me like $20.
Oh, that's
And I
not.
go my
Come on,
and I go
strike. You
my
should be getting
groceries.
more than that. No.
Um,
It's been nice having editors because I do everything on my main channel by myself. So when I
yeah.
started Fearful Harmony,
Mhm.
I can't pronounce it. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this by myself as well. So a couple of
Oh
my
yeah.
buddies who I've worked with on other like podcast slash talk shows, and I've also edited said podcast slash talk show. I came to them first. I talked to my buddy James. I'm like, hey, you're the guy for this. And now I've got two editors, and they're great and awesome. And if I had the money, I would
Mhm.
hire an editor for my main channel. But
As
I
you
mean, I do, but I don't. I don't. Like, I'd rather use that money for like groceries and general saving in life. So,
yeah.
and copies of
I
Sonic
mean,
EXE.
yeah. I need to make my Sonic.exe videos, guys. You don't understand.
That's so true.
But yeah, I mean, if it means anything, from what I can tell, you're a very good editor. Your video on Mario Dolor was very
Thank you. I
nice
appreciate that.
presentation.
I
It's
was
very nice to
kind of
watch.
sad. I wanted to do a little bit because my editing, I always like start off kind of fancy and then start to mellow out a little bit because I don't like
Yeah,
that
I do
Mr. Beast editing. Kind of like edits every 5 seconds.
shaky cam.
But also part of the reason I do that is because since I'm a college student and I have another job,
Not a lot of time.
a lot of my work I do at night, and I found out the hard way when this was today, Sunday, Friday.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all my finals are done. I got no more homework. I can spend the day. I have 4.5 minutes left of this Dolor video to edit. But then I forgot. So I'm a residential advisor in my dorm hall, and we had
Okay,
to
cool.
sweep both 10-story buildings. And
Oh my
I kind of
goodness.
forgot to take that into account. So I was up till like 2 editing, which honestly, not bad considering some nights I've been up till like 5 or 6. So.
Everybody in the audience, email your RA and tell them that you appreciate them.
That's
And
so true.
thank you for all that you do. And please don't kick me out.
Also,
You should,
we
you should
don't,
say that.
anyone out there who has an RA, we don't check your stuff during room checks. We're just making sure you don't burn down the room. Please, we're not going to be digging through your drawers looking for alcohol. Everybody thinks we do that. That's illegal. We can't do that.
But if you did do it, you would find alcohol.
Yeah, no, oh,
I know from
100%.
experience. You,
I'm pretty chill with my
you,
residents. I tell them like, "Hey, hide everything from me. Don't tell me what you're doing." That's like what
yeah,
every pretty much RA does and what they should do.
yeah.
Anyone does otherwise, they're kind of lame. I hope my boss doesn't watch this. She knows what I do, but still.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, college is time consuming, and doing like literally anything else on the side is a lot. I would help set up and host Smash Brothers tournaments at my college.
Oh.
Yeah, for the new upcoming freshmen. Every time there was ever like a freshman experience where people would come in to like look at the school, I always was helping with those. So I was spending a lot of time making games, playing games. Not as much time. I spend more time making games than playing games, but still a lot of time. Hosting tournaments. I was on the competitive Smash Brothers team,
Mm.
and we were the most successful esports team at my school. Just saying.
No, I
Go
kind of
that
get that.
guy.
I spend way more time editing video games than playing like
Yeah.
creepypasta games than I do actual video games. That's why I'm so happy to
Yeah.
be
That.
home. I can finally play. I can play the Dragon Quest 3 remake. I could maybe play Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
I can play Sparky Zero. All these games I've not been able to play. If I played. Also, you can probably tell behind me, I'm a game collector, so I have a lot of
Wait a
just like
minute.
random things. I have another shelf over there. I'm actually on Tuesday. I'm completely moving my room around. Now that I'm back, because I've run out of room. You could probably tell I'm stacking games kind of
Yeah.
awkwardly because
I
I'm out of room.
Yeah. In one of my cabinets I have all of the Wii games that I've ever had, and over in like my closet I have a box of all of the Nintendo 64 games I've ever owned. So I also, like, you can't see it, but I have all of my games here too. I have tons and tons and tons of games, and I'm
Yeah.
probably never gonna play most of them, but it is still cool having those games from when I was a kid.
I try to only
So yeah,
pick things up that I'll at least play once, but every now and then I pick up a game and I never touch it. Like I picked up a copy of Brawl like after I've already played Brawl like my entire life nonstop.
Subspace
I haven't even
Emissary is the
tried it.
go.
That's true. Oh my god, I remember getting
Uh,
home in elementary school and playing Subspace Emissary until like I had to go to bed. But
when I was a kid, I thought Brawl was the coolest video
oh,
game in the
it is
world.
the coolest. I still think it's. I will still stand by the fact, maybe not
Yeah.
competitively, but I think it's still the best
Oh
Smash
yeah,
Brothers
probably
game,
not, but
hands down. You have Subspace
yeah, I love
Emissary.
it.
You have the best single player content in the whole game.
Oh,
It's
absolutely,
fun. You
yeah.
have the stickers. You have the trophies. You have all this stuff. The music, in my opinion, is
The
probably
music is
some of the
insane.
best.
The music is
Um,
insane. You should look up the Latin translation for that song. It's like an actual, like, it has lyrics.
I'd rather play
Um,
Ultimate with my buddies, but like if we're just
yeah.
taking it like a game
Ultimate
in
was
general, I think Brawl's better. But
It's funny, when Rivals of Aether 2 came out, I completely stopped playing Smash Ultimate.
you know, my friend is in that game.
Oh, really? Rivals?
Yeah, his face is an icon. Dot Colin.
Really?
Have you seen that? Yeah.
No.
Next time
Wow,
you
that's
check,
awesome.
Fonder, throw it up on screen. I'll send it to you. This is Dot Colin. He's a streamer buddy of mine. His face is
That's
in the game
crazy.
as one of the player icons, and it's hilarious. Um,
Dan?
huh?
Hey? Sorry, Dan's like the Rivals developer guy.
I don't
Dan,
know.
Dan put my face in the game?
Your
Me too?
face.
Yeah, I've never done anything in the Rivals 2 community, but
You
put my
might have
face
to
in the game
talk.
too.
But anyways, before we wrap up here,
Yeah.
I always like to
Oh, yeah, yeah.
ask my guests a what if question of who would win in a fight. Normally I have it written
Okay.
down, so I'm gonna have to think of this one on the spot. So who would win in a
Okay.
fight?
Freddy
Uh
Fazbear?
the the big shadow Mario, but he just got back from the dentist and getting his wisdom teeth removed, or the guy from A Happy Place with a suit and tie, but he has no special abilities, but he has a 12 gauge shotgun.
That's actually crazy you say that, because in the first version of A Happy Place, you had a shotgun. It was kind of a meme for a while. Like, oh look, that guy has a shotgun. The guy in the tie has a shotgun. Uh, I guess the Shadow Mario,
But he
the
just
guy
got
you call
back from. He
Giggles.
just got his. Oh yeah. Did you know he has a name? So I
I
mean,
do know that
obviously
he.
you knew that, but I don't know if it's ever been said anywhere else. But I checked House of Horror Brew today, for the little web page of your character because I was looking for a picture of him for something. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Maybe I was like prepping for a thumbnail. I can't even remember what I was doing because it was really early this
Mhm.
morning. And he has a name now because before it just said the shadow. Now it says Oiram, right?
Okay,
That's
yeah.
the
So
name.
I think what happened.
Somebody dug
So by
into
the
the
way,
files and
yeah, yeah.
put that
So
as the name. I'm
for
like,
people who
the
Yeah,
hell?
for people who are like fans of me, you may have DM'd me before and I may have not responded. That's because I don't really like DMing people that I don't personally know in real life,
Mhm.
unless like it's somebody I've seen like in on YouTube before. Because like
If you
I'm just
trust them, is what you're saying.
yeah, I'm not a huge like DMer
Hmm.
really. So a lot of times I'll see your messages and like I'll register them, and I appreciate reaching out and stuff like that, but I probably am not going to respond. At least not all the time. I saw on Game Jolt somebody had messaged me and they had said that they had gotten into like a
They
call
said
with
that
some other
yeah,
people.
they backloaded the game
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, they
I
like
don't know.
back exported Mario Dolor, which is really cool. I think it's awesome. If you guys get like Blender 2.7 and it has the game engine in it again, you could probably make mods for Mario Dolor if you want. Like
Yeah,
you could
they what
legitimately
was
like
it? They
figure out how the game works.
took the model on the website and they made new
Mhm.
renders of it. If you want to see, hold on, I'll post them in a
Yeah,
second in general. There, you
saw,
can put
yeah,
this
I
up on
saw that.
screen. This would have been great for my thumbnail. You couldn't have done this a day earlier. Well, I guess it was probably my video that made him look into this, but still, what the hell? I wouldn't
Yeah,
have had to crop anything out. Continue.
yeah, but I thought it was pretty cool that you know, because now people can actually like look in the files and see like all the secret things and what stuff looks like. Because there's a lot of stuff that's like obscured, and so now people
Mm,
can like look into the files and see what stuff looks like. I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, no, that is cool.
Yeah, I named him in the files. I named him Mario backwards. Um, I guess two things on that. First off, the reason why the game is called Mario Dolor is because I was an idiot when I was a kid, and I thought that Dolor was meant pain in Italian. I wanted it to be Italian because Mario's Italian, but that's
You put it
not
in
pain in
Spanish.
Italian. Yeah, I think it's because Google still. I was like, what is pain in Italian, or something like that. Like, what is discomfort in Italian? And I think it showed me what it was for Spanish for some reason, and I just
Mm,
didn't notice. But yeah, it's not very much different. I think it's like dolore,
yeah.
like it's Dolore. But
Spanish and
that's why the
Italian
game
are
is
very
called.
close as well, so.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why the automatic like what Google had assumed was kind of wrong. One time a fan emailed me and he said that he called the Shadow Mario Dolorio, which is what I've called the Shadow
Oh,
Mario.
that's such a good name. What?
You know, I tried to come up with a lot of names and nothing really ever stuck. The Mario backwards was just kind of like what I called it in the files. In
Yeah.
fact, I just kind of made that Shadow Mario as like a little like, oh, you went all the way to the left in the first level. There's a little Shadow Mario guy, and that's all I really planned for him to be. But then I started putting him in more levels. I'm like, you know, what? I'm just gonna make the final boss the Shadow Mario guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
called
that's the
him
two things I
Giggles.
wanted to say. Yeah, you
I,
called him Giggles.
I did the same thing with another one called My Mario Game. I called the main guy Plunge because he
Yeah,
didn't really. I think this is a trend. I play a game with play a Mario horror game with a character who doesn't have a concrete name, and I
yeah,
see that I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come up with something. The character does something, and I'm like, all right, that's their name now. Like the other one,
yeah.
I saw him
Yeah.
plunge into the dark. I was like, all right, that's plunge now, and it's up on the
Oh, probably.
Wikipedia. In fact, I think, yeah, someone put, which I think is hilarious. It has aliases. How do you pronounce that?
Alias?
Alias. That was it. And they
Yeah.
put giggles in there. I'm like, that's hilarious.
That's awesome that you get to just like retcon my entire existence. You should keep
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh wait, no. I should take somebody's game and then just like edit over and gaslight everyone to thinking it's a completely different game. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
you should get it backwards exported and then you should like take
Make
every
Mario
asset
blue or
in it.
something. He was always blue. What are you talking
Yeah.
about, guys?
Yeah. Dude, what are you crazy? Gaslighting isn't a thing.
Oh my god, I
This
should
guy
do
has
that for
been
like
blue all
April
along.
Fools. That would be so funny.
Yeah, so
Anyways.
I thought that was pretty cool that like literally day one that Mario Dolor becomes relevant again, it gets backward exported. Because people wanted like game files, people wanted like models and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So now people have access to that, which is pretty cool. Um, good
All
job,
right.
guys.
Yeah. All right. Before we end up here, because we're almost cutting in an hour, which I think you're the first game developer to make an hour. Normally it's the YouTubers, because the
Yeah, I'm
YouTubers
an entertaining guy. What can I
we
say?
like to talk. YouTubers really like to talk.
Hey, I like talking to you.
No, I know.
Talking's
I
awesome.
appreciate that. I like when it goes longer because sometimes I've had some recordings go less than half an hour because like I don't really like
Dang.
we just go through the questions and they'll answer. I appreciate it,
I
but
just hate this person so much.
yeah, I've
Talk about
hated
this thing
every
people
single
said.
guest. I'm not gonna lie. I just do this for the. I don't even get money off this. I do it for
Money.
the thrill of it.
Ugh,
I do it for the
I
thrill.
have to pay my editor. Ugh,
Do you think I pay my
man.
editors? No.
Oh man, I have to pay my editor.
I just let them out of the editing cage sometimes, and they get to like
Oh
look
yeah,
at
out of
the.
the basement.
They get to feel the sun on their skin for like 5 minutes, and it's back in.
Thank you,
Anyways,
editor. You're very appreciated. I hope Toadbutt pays you for your time.
anyways,
It starts. Oh
if
no.
people would like to find you, where can they find you online?
I think. Oh, jeez, I don't even remember. Hold on. My Twitter is my Twitter.com is at Ziggity Official.
Hmm.
My Game Jolt is just at Ziggity. My YouTube is, and my YouTube has like teasers and stuff like that, like trailers. My YouTube is at Ziggity Official.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to see, I want to be more active on Twitter. If you want to see like trailers and stuff, or like uh, my soundtrack, you can find that on YouTube. I also have a like Spotify playlists that
Mhm.
have my music in it. One of the songs is corrupted and will blow your ears out if you listen to it. It's called Cinnamon City Underwater. It's corrupted. I literally can't do anything about it just because of how Spotify works without like taking the whole album down. But yeah, Game Jolt is where you can find my
That's probably what
previous
I'll
games.
link people to, so they can just directly go
Yeah,
to your game.
I'll make my itch either Ziggity or Ziggity official.
I think you just look up
Maybe
Ziggity
expect.
on Google, you can find you, because I think
Yeah,
I've done that
yeah,
before.
pretty much.
Which that's kind of
Um,
cool. I still don't even get
yeah.
top for Toad Bop sometimes, because
Well, I mean, Toad
Toad
is.
Bop that's a little
Yeah.
larger than I
Hey,
am.
you look up a happy place. You look up a happy place, and you do not see the game for a million entrants because for some reason I decided to call it one of like the most popular phrases ever. Like happy place.
Ah,
So I absolutely feel that search engine optimization stuff. Um, yeah. Do you watch Simple Flips?
no, but I did a long time ago, but that's not the
Yeah.
reason my name is Toad Bop. I've had to say
When
this
I
a
saw
million
when I saw
times.
when I see Toad Puff, I'm like, oh, that's Simple Flips. I know it.
Yeah.
You can't hide from me. I know that's Simple
One of
Flips.
my
Uh,
friends is like a huge Simple Flips fan, so whenever we talk about
I'm a
him, he
big.
brings up the butt meme, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know.
I know it. Ah, the oatmeal.
Oh my
Um,
god, 1-2
yeah,
oatmeal.
I've been a big fan of Simple Flips. One of my crowning achievements in my whole life is when the Hobo Bros played Mario Dolor with Nathaniel Bandy, and Simple Flips commented. That was the highlight of my whole life.
The
He
highlight of my
commented
whole
on the
life
video.
was getting 1,000 likes on a Vine Sauce video. Because I
Really?
commented, yeah. No, that was the craziest day of my
Uh,
life. Vine Sauce, you're
Speaking of
listening?
comments,
Hit me up. What's up?
speaking, I was gonna say, oh yeah, Vine Sauce, play Mario Dolor, bro, or play a Happy Place, by the way. Thank you. Um, it is so funny. I when I commented on your video and I said like, oh, I should check this game out. I was just being like a little sarcastic. Frame one, somebody responded, Skibbity official.
Yeah, no, sometimes the comments
No, it was good. It was good. It
get
was funny.
silly.
I thought it was funny. Frame like literally. I press enter, notification. Somebody responded at Ziggity official, Skibbity official. So that guy, you're getting pinned comment this time.